We're good. Good morning and welcome to the SBA presentation at the Maine Agricultural Trades Show for 2025. My name is Bill Card. I'm an economic development specialist for the Small Business Administration, and I'd like to welcome you to our presentation. And for those that are visiting, joining online, we'd like to welcome you as well. For general purposes, the SBA helps small businesses start and grow. So whether you are in the idea stage or in the active business development stage, we have a program or service that's likely to be able to help you. And one of the things that most folks start with when they visit with us, with our office, or visit with us personally, they usually start with, I need money. They come in and they are in business or starting a business and they need money. And we're certainly sympathetic to that and are in the business of helping folks provide or obtain access to capital. But what most folks really need in the beginning of their business is they need a plan. And many folks try to start a business or operate their business without a plan. And without a plan, it makes it much more difficult to be successful. So we encourage folks to start with a plan and then go for the execution and operation of their business. And with the plan, the SBA has 4 resource partners that can help you start or grow your business. And what's important to know about the resource partners of the SBA is that they are all free and that they're all confidential. Again, all free and all confidential. So that means when you use one of our resource partners, it's private and it also doesn't cost you any money. You won't get a bill. And you can also use them on an ongoing basis. And one of the things that I periodically mention is I ran my own business for 15 years and made use of the SBA Resource Partnership Network for that entire time. And for our business, it made the difference between nearly certain failure and being successful and growing to 8 employees over that period of 15 years. So I personally have a level of gratitude and feeling of indebtedness to the SBA because of the success it allowed our small business to achieve and what it provided to our family. So to start with, on the Resource Partner Network, we have 4. In no particular order, we have the Small Business Development Center, we have SCORE, we have the Women's Business Center, and we have the Veterans Business Outreach Center. And I will talk more about them in more detail. But this morning, we are very fortunate to have Ed Ross here, who is a chapter member of Central Maine SCORE. And I wanted to just invite Ed over to say hello and welcome him. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning, Bill.
Very nice to see you. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
And we should probably start with what SCORE can do for small businesses and some thoughts that Ed has about the importance of, I think he said, starting early. So I've already mentioned free and confidential, and we were just talking before we got started on this program about please mention to start early.
Yes.
So you can underscore that. And is there what else would you like to add?
Well, as Bill said, SCORE is a volunteer organization that's sponsored by the Small Business Administration. We have 3 chapters in Maine, and we have probably over 125 members who have many of us are retired people with certain specialties, but by and large, general background in business. We have some of our members have a lot of knowledge in the agricultural field, but all of us have resources both on a local level and on a national level, as well as being able to take advantage of the knowledge of other members. And as Bill said, our preference is to work with small business owners and people who want to be small business owners of any variety. And we have methodology and approaches that can help people in the planning process, which is extremely important for any sort of business success. So you can go online and get us at scoremain.org. You can get us through the Small Business Administration. We also have a booth here today and be happy to meet you and answer any questions.
Ed, thank you very much. And Ed needs to get back to his booth now, but we appreciate you coming over to just spend a moment with us.
My pleasure. Thank you, Bill.
Keep up the good work. Thank you. And thanks to Ed for coming over. As Ed mentioned, the SCORE program services are free, they're confidential. SCORE will be here today and there is tomorrow as well. And the SCORE mentors are widely available. There are several chapters of SCORE throughout the state. And as Ed mentioned, the easiest way to get a hold of SCORE is online. It's www.scoremain.org, O-R-G. And basically you go online and request advising, and a mentor will be in touch with you and will offer you either in-person or virtual advising, and that's where you can get your start. And the important thing I think to mention is the advisors in all of our resource partner network work really hard to meet people where they are at. We understand that not everybody has a fully developed business plan. We understand that folks have different areas and levels of expertise. So they work really hard to meet you where you're at and help you move forward. That's true of all of our resource partners. The next resource partner that I wanted to mention is the Maine Small Business Development Centers. The Maine Small Business Development Centers is the oldest resource partner in the SBA network, starting in 1977, with the state of Maine being one of the pilot states for the program itself. And to reach the Maine Small Business Development Centers, you go to www.maine, M-A-I-N-E, SBDC.org. And again, you request advising, and you put in if you're a new business or you're an existing business. And once you send that off, a SBDC business advisor will be in touch with you, and you can do either virtual or in-person meetings, training sessions with your advisor. And again, you can do those on an ongoing basis. As I mentioned, I made use of the SBA programs for a full 15 years when I was in business and found it helpful throughout. The third resource partner that I wanted to mention is the Women's Business Center at CEI. CEI is located in Brunswick and delivers many different economic development programs, one of which is the SBA's Women's Business Center program. They serve exclusively women, and the business advisors are all women, and they typically do a lot of work in cohorts, which is a little different than the one-on-one settings that the other resource partners deliver. And it has been a very effective and welcoming resource partner. To reach the Women's Business Center, you would go to CEI Maine, MAINE.org, and then click on Business Advising, and there you will find the Women's Business Center. The fourth resource partner that we have is the Veterans Business Outreach Center. And that is a resource that is dedicated exclusively to veterans and veterans' family members. So if you are a veteran or a family member of a veteran, then you are eligible to receive help from the Veterans Business Outreach Center. The Veterans Business Outreach Center is delivered by CWE, the Center for Women's Enterprise, which is located in Rhode Island, but we have staff in Maine. And to reach the Veterans Business Outreach Center, you would go to www.cweonline.org and then go to the VBOC, Veterans Business Outreach Center tab, and request advising. And so those are the 4 different resource partners that we have. And again, they will really work hard to meet you where you are at. And one of the most challenging things, in my experience, is to get people to actually to engage. And part of my job is to go out into the public and to do promotional work to get folks comfortable that we are real people working with real people, trying to help real people do real things in small business. And some of the results are actually quite spectacular. We sometimes forget to mention that Ben & Jerry's was a SBA client early on, as was FedEx. So there's a whole host of other companies, most of them smaller and the names not quite as recognizable, but we're here for you too. And so we want you to feel welcome, and basically what we try to practice in our office is that there's no wrong door, that regardless of where you call or where you go, we will get you to the right place in a friendly and comfortable manner. The last piece of contact information that I wanted to give is to reach us at the SBA. And you can reach us online at www.sba.gov/Maine, M-A-I-N-E, and that will connect you directly to the SBA Maine District Office. And from there, you'll be able to find any one of us on staff, and we would all be happy to try to help you. And the telephone number to the district office is 207-622-8551. So you're welcome at any time to call us and with our resource partners to engage at any time in the process. As Ed mentioned earlier, it's really important to start as early as you can in the process. It's better to plan than it is to find your way into difficulty and then ask for help. However, we'll meet you where you're at and welcome you at any time. The reason why I think it's really important to start with the technical assistance before you actually launch your business is when you launch your business, it's a lot like the electric meter running. When you launch your business, you typically have expenses like rent, other utilities, sometimes have employee costs, you have product costs, and if you don't have a built-in market, then you will have an expense side rolling along, but you won't have the revenue side. What's really important is to try to get the revenue side going either before or right at launch time, and that way it will allow you to break even and start making money sooner and greatly reduce the risk of business failure and greatly increase the prospects or likelihood of success. And so that's why we talk about the resource partner network and planning first. And once folks get through that or get into that, the SBA is also very engaged in access to capital. We have lending from as small as $5,000 to lending limits of up to $5 million. And we don't see a lot of $5 million loans in Maine, but we are eligible or authorized to do loans up to that size. There are a number of different SBA loan programs. Rather than getting into the specifics of each one, what I thought I would do is split them between the micro loans and the larger loan programs. If your business is looking for $50,000 or less, then we would typically suggest that you visit one of our micro lenders. And micro lenders have local decision making. You go in and apply, and you have an opportunity to meet the lender in person, uh, basically to articulate what it is you're planning to do and why, and how you're going to do it, and why it's going to be successful. And the micro lenders can loan as small as $1,000 up to $50,000. And if you don't have experience in business before, then the micro lenders tend to be the arguably the most welcoming for the new small folks that don't have a lot of experience. If your business needs more than $50,000, we would welcome you to go to any one of the SBA participating lenders in Maine. That's where it all starts, and what we generally suggest is if you have a successful or satisfactory relationship with your existing lender, we encourage you to stay with that lender because you know them and they know you. And the SBA works with most of the national, regional, and community banks in Maine, as well as many of the larger credit unions. If you'd like to get a list of the SBA lenders in Maine, you're welcome to call our office, or you can simply go to your lender and ask if they are an SBA lender. And the reason why you would consider doing that is many new businesses lack sufficient capital and they lack sufficient collateral for a traditional lender to be comfortable to do a traditional loan. And where the SBA comes in is the SBA guarantees the loan, the outstanding amount of the balance of the loan to the lender should the business be unable to continue on or close. And so that greatly mitigates or reduces the risk to the lender and thereby makes it much more likely that they are willing to loan money to a new venture or to a venture that is typically insufficiently collateralized. And by collateralized, what we mean is the ability or access to pledge assets to secure the loan. So we do, again, work from anywhere of $50,000 up to $5 million. The funding can be used for working lines of credit. It can be used for real estate loans. It can be used to buy inventory. There's a wide variety of eligible uses of proceeds and really very few restrictions. So most things are eligible, not all, but most, and certainly worth asking about. So that's the second area most folks come to us with is a need for capital. And that piece that I just discussed covers most of the need for access to capital. The third area that the SBA gets engaged in is federal government contracting. What many folks do not know is the US government is the world's biggest customer. As you may know, they buy destroyers from General Dynamics or Bath Iron Works in Bath, and they buy many, many other things. What folks are typically not aware of is at the federal building in Augusta, which is where I work, there are government contracts for janitorial services. There are government contracts for landscape services. So you don't need to be as big as Bath Iron Works or General Dynamics to work with the federal government. You do need to have the capacity to do the scope of work that you're seeking to do, but it can be actually quite small, and it is a great additional source of revenue for a small business to obtain, because the government contracts always get paid and frequently are renewed. And we have a staff specialist in our office. His name is Jim Pino, who manages our Augusta office. our Bangor office, and Jim spends much of his time assisting small businesses to learn about government contracting and assisting small business in obtaining government contracts. We also have some staff that the general public does not routinely see, but is called a procurement center representative. And in this case, it's a gentleman in Augusta, and he works with larger companies to try to advocate for smaller companies to get either government contract set-asides or for small businesses to be able to participate as subcontractors on a larger prime contract. There's also another resource partner that is not part of the SBA Resource Partner Network, but is particularly helpful on companies that are interested in government contracting, and it is known as Apex Accelerators. And that's housed at Eastern Maine Development Corporation in Bangor for Maine, and you can reach out to Eastern Maine Development, and if you want to get technical assistance on government contracting, that is what we consider the best resource in the state of Maine. And again, you don't have to be big. It can be small. And one of the things that I always mention to folks is when they build a federal courthouse, a lot of the woodworking, a lot of the construction, things like that, the specialty trades, the contracts for those are frequently awarded to small companies or awarded to small companies as a subcontractor for a prime contractor. So there's opportunities for small businesses out there to participate in larger contracts. And it's a great way to add revenue that not everybody has considered. And the fourth way that we assist small businesses is through our disaster program. That in the case of a natural or man-made disaster, the SBA works with small businesses, property owners, and renters to obtain economic injury disaster assistance loan funding to allow them typically to remain in business and to weather the storm, if you will, and to continue on. And that program was widely used during the COVID pandemic and has been instrumental in helping many small businesses bridge that gap and remain in business and come back to profitability.
Did it? How was that? I'm sorry. No, we're good. Yeah, we're good. It's still streaming. Yep, it's still streaming. Yeah, the switcher. Yep. Yep. I am so sorry. Yep, it's good. Good. So the
Actively involved in. It's something that is not it's not available every day in every place because it's dependent on a disaster declaration, but it is an integral and big part of our delivery of programs. So those are the four program areas that we are engaged in primarily. There are several offshoots as well. If you are a company that is interested in exporting, we have an exporting program that assists small businesses in getting into export markets, and that is another way that we work with folks to try to increase revenue and increase their success by expanding their markets. So that's basically all of the programs that we have for this short period of time. The key in all of this is please reach out to us. We do want to help. We don't always have the answer directly, but we always have it close by. The economic development world is a very small network, and we work together very, very collaboratively in Maine and appreciate the relationships that we have with our resource partners and other federal and state agencies. So if we have something for you, we will let you know that we have something for you. But if we don't, chances are we know somebody that will, and we will happily refer you to them. So with that, I thank you very much for your participation and attention. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us. And thank you again.